fair, a couple of years worth of wood to go. It'll keep us going all
So
winter.
that'll last you a couple of years, will it?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good. I've got a feeling things are going to get a little bit noisy. I've just come out to meet my good friend Rich. He's a farmer in a little village just in Herefordshire, a little bit away from where I live. Well, this is Richard's wood processing plant. So I had to record this voiceover because it was just so noisy. But Richard's using his Hakki Pilke Expert 37 log processor. This is a machine for professional use or demanding domestic use. As Rich completely heats his home from wood, he processes a lot of wood to maintain hot water and heating. He's got a fantastic wood-fired heating system, which you'll get to see toward the end of the video. But at the moment he's working on his wood processor, processing up some ash logs, and the machine is just incredible. It does all the work for you. So first of all, Richard will load the wood onto the trestle with his tractor and grab. Just before we do that, I was looking at his old Massey 35. He's had this since 1974. You'll hear him talk about that in a short while. But here you can see a log going in. The chainsaw is brought down. It cuts it to a specific length. You've got a length gauge that you set to the length you want your logs cut to. And yeah, you bring the chainsaw down. You can see the dust from the chainsaw coming out the back of the machine. I'll zoom in for a quick look at that. And here you see Richard, he's just about to load up some fresh logs onto the trestle table, as I call it, using his tractor and the grab. We've just loaded some more logs onto the trestle now. And this is where it gets easy. It all lifts it up for you, throws it onto these rollers here.
Look in the cab there.
I gotta get in the cab?
Yeah, come in the cab.
Oh, it's a lot nicer in here, Rich.
See that there? That's the PTO speed, gotta be 480.
Yeah.
480.
It goes onto these two little rollers here now. And it'll move it forward. That's if he's got it lined up there, mind. And away another one goes, ready to be chopped up in a firewood.
So we cut a wood down which had...
You clear felled the wood, didn't you?
yeah, we had to clear fell it.
6 acres, wasn't it?
No, it was.
Oh, how big was it then?
A couple of acres, something like
Was
that.
it all? I thought it was bigger than that.
1 3/4 acres, 2 acres, something like that.
Yeah.
But there was a hell of a lot of timber there.
Yeah.
Which is all ash, basically, 100% ash. And we've had that stacked outside now since we cut it down about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so this is the last batch to go through the machine then. So I'll show you. So basically, obviously, so you've got the frame here, which saves a hell of other work. I can pick it up using the, well, you can probably see on the film.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
All but thing there, fantastic bit of kit that.
Saves a lot of work, Rich, doesn't it?
Well, it's already picked all this lot up about 2 or 3 times. It picked it up and stacked it in the wood.
Yeah.
And it picked it up and put it on the trailer, and it stacked it in the yard, you know, so it's been very, very busy, that piece of kit.
And that, I see you got a little chainsaw in there, which is obviously powered from the PTO.
Yes.
It's all powered from the PTO of the tractor.
Yeah. So basically the PTO drives pumps, So there's a big hydraulic reservoir in there.
Yeah.
And everything else, as you can see,
It's all
everything
hydraulic
works
then?
on hydraulics, yeah.
I see, I'm with you.
So basically, if it's in actually the machine's working position, you cannot lift any of the guards.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a
all,
safety
right?
feature.
It's a safety feature. And the first thing that idiots do is they undo these 2 bolts here, take that guard off,
Oh, crikey.
and then you've got problems. I've heard of a chap who did that. He worked for a fellow who used to supply these machines, and then he went out, he bought one of these machines, went out on his own. Then of course he got very, did a lot of firewood. Then he decided to take a lad on.
Oh no.
But of course he'd taken that off, and you can imagine what was happening was he was cutting. The lad went in there to do something with a piece of wood, or put a piece of wood in there, and turn it round there, and the ram came up and pushed his hand straight against that.
Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah, and I mean,
That wasn't very good,
you
then.
would not believe how. I'll show you a blade in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, as you say, then, so that's it basically. So it's as long as you keep these guards on there, which are 100% ideal.
Yeah, so these blades, they're really sharp then, aren't they?
Oh yeah, have a feel of that.
Oh, crikey, yeah. There's some edge to them, isn't there?
Yeah. And,
I didn't
so-
think they were as sharp as that.
No, so there's basically two models of this. One, you can have a big circular saw on there,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to keep a circular saw sharp.
No.
like-
Chainsaw's easier to sharpen.
Yeah, basically I can change.
Apparently I'm not very good at it.
You're not very good at it.
No, I think I can get a chain reasonably sharp. Well, workable sharp anyway.
So basically, well, I went on a course a few years ago, and if you keep using, like I've had to use saws over the last few years,
Yeah.
it's anyway. So basically, so saws are dead easy to keep, and I can even change the blade and everything like that.
Yeah,
It's quite
yeah.
simple. You don't need me to strip it and show you anything like that.
No.
But basically, this is a reservoir full of chainsaw oil,
Right.
and then you undo a bolt there, lift that up, gives you access. It's just like a normal chainsaw, two bolts.
Yeah.
Two nuts, you undo
Yeah,
and a screw
yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'll show you a blade that's out of the machine. This is a four-way blade.
So the chainsaw comes down through there.
Yeah, so that's what they're like.
So that's your spare.
That's a spare blade.
That splits them into quadrants then.
Quadrants, yeah, but I did at the moment I'm splitting them into fours. You ever feel of that?
Yeah, there's an edge on that. You wouldn't want to
No,
fall onto that, would you?
you certainly wouldn't. That's what he's doing like that.
Yeah.
So that's it then. So basically, I'm very, very pleased with the machine. Never look back. Any
Yeah.
problems I've had, the guys always come and sorted it out.
Yeah. How
And
much
that-
wood do you reckon you're getting through in the course of a winter then, Rich?
Oh, well,
Well, you use it all year round, don't you? Because of
we
the
use
wood
all
boiler.
year. Well, yeah, we don't use it much in the summer because we've got 2 panels on the house that basically heat it all up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I've got this old trailer here, which is ideal for this job, and my little Massey Ferguson, which we've had since about
You love that old tractor, don't you?
1974. Yeah, have a look at it. Have you got it on there already?
Yeah,
haven't
I've already filmed it. Massey Ferguson 35.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah,
cracking.
1974 was it?
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if there's an owl still up here or not. There was 2 in here this morning.
What, owls? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rich is he's very nature conscious, which is.
Do you want to come and see me owl pellets?
Yeah, go on then. Let's have a
Seriously, then, do you want to switch it off because it's down the bottom here? You're right for shoes,
look.
Sandy?
Yeah, I'm fine. So I'll turn the camera back on when I get an opportune moment. We're going to go and look at some owl pellets.
To be fair, a couple of years worth of wood to go. It'll keep us going all
So
winter.
that'll last you a couple of years, will it?
I would have thought so, yeah.
That's a good old pile. How many? What would you do? You measure it in cords or in tons, Rich?
I don't measure it, Sandy. I just basically, when we run short, I just carry it up the house, and when we run short in here, I just put some more stuff down like that. We've had a lovely time basically with this wood that we had to chop down. But the next thing I'll have to do, actually, we got some Sally trees, which are willow trees.
Willow,
basically.
yeah. We call them Sally as well.
You call them Sally as well.
Yeah. It's a lighter wood.
Well,
It hasn't got the same calorific value.
I went to a meeting once and I said, well, we often use Sally, and this bloke looked totally blank, and he said, and this very wise professor bloke said, oh, they call willow trees Salix. They call them Salis round here.
Is that a rat trap down there, is it?
Yeah, a friend of mine was chucking it out. I said, well, I'll have that. And I'll just redo it up and...
Yeah, I wouldn't
repurpose it.
clean it too much because if you put any scent onto it, they won't go in.
No. So basically, this is our sort of morning kindling wood.
Yeah. So you cut that out for your kindling. I do something similar. Nice
Yeah.
dry. It burns well as good kindling wood, doesn't it?
Yeah. The only trouble is I can't use these painted pallets
No.
because obviously I've got sensors in the boiler and that would knacker it up completely.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, because I use all the wood that I burn, all the ash I take out, I put it on the garden. So I want to keep that as pure as possible.
Yeah. So we've had little owls in that one there.
All right.
See that box there? And it's
Yeah,
got like
yeah,
a
yeah.
piece of apple wood on the front. I had an owl in there nesting this year, and there was a swarm of bees went in it.
Oh, crikey.
So that's
Yes.
my old baler. And when I decided to retire a few years ago, I sold that to a neighbour of mine who wanted it. He was desperate for a baler, so he had it. And then, of course, we bought some wildflower meadows.
So you want some more bales again?
So you want small bales again. So he said, well, don't worry, you can borrow it. I mean, a few years later, I had a chance to land upon a Massey baler. So I bought the Massey baler, and because he's a big, keen Massey bloke, and he basically he did her up this year. Look at that.
That looks like brand new, doesn't it?
Absolutely brand new.
And,
Well, I think it's better than brand new.
But I must say, I'm impressed with how you run the farm, Rich. You always keep everything under cover.
Yeah.
So look at that. Look, that's amazing, isn't it? He's
Yeah.
done such a good job of that, hasn't he?
What do you think?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not joking, Sandy. When you look at this panel here, I mean, that looks like brand new, doesn't it?
How
So I
old
was
do you reckon that is then?
60s, 70s, I don't know.
So it could be sort of 50, 60-year-old.
Oh,
then?
easy.
50-year-old.
But when I bought it, something had come through the side of here, and there was a big panel about that big out the side of it, like that, had been knocked out, and then somebody had obviously got a piece
Oh, I
of tin
see,
something
yeah.
and welded it back on there.
Yeah.
And I said to him, oh, you had to buy a new panel for there. No, he said, I knocked it all out, cleaned it all up, and that's a new panel. If you feel that, you can just about feel there's something there. But
Yeah.
it's amazing, isn't it?
Such a good job, hasn't he?
Yeah, amazing guy. Anyway,
This is where the owls
This is where the owls
their pellets.
Yeah,
oh
they
yeah,
are.
look at that, look.
barn owl pellets.
You can see, so it looks like crap, but basically what it is how owls crap, isn't it? It's full of, if I was to take that apart, you'd find bones and all sorts. And here we have barn owl feathers. So are they nesting in here then?
Yeah. So if you look at that box there,
Oh yeah.
up in the corner, well, there's a box there and there's a box there, but they prefer that one there. Come on, I'll show you the outside of that.
So Richard's got a box for the barn owls up there.
Yeah, there's
And,
feathers everywhere here, look where they've been.
Owl pellets everywhere. Owl feathers. So it's farming really is responsible for.
Yeah, they went there like.
Farmers are responsible really for maintaining the habitat for the benefit of the wildlife, aren't they? Really, Rich?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, and so that's the owl box where the owl box comes out.
Oh,
And
I see, yeah.
That is the most successful. I put that box up.
So that little thing protruding out the side there is where the owls
platform.
gain
And
access
yeah.
from
So-
to do box. Yeah.
So basically, I put this box up, and a couple of weeks later, I thought, oh, I better just check how he's getting on. Opened it up, and there was both barn owl pellets in there and little owl pellets. They both come and had a look in there.
Crikey, yeah.
And it's literally been used every year since. And one year we had the camera up and we watched, it fledged a couple out from there, no problem at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, every year.
You've got a nice muck heap there, Rich.
If
that
people
where
are
you put the
interested
local-
in our muck heap, I'd be
You put
amazed.
the local poachers in here, don't you?
Do you?
Don't they? The local poachers go in there, don't they?
Well, in the muck tub.
Here's an interesting question for you, Rich, because you are now a retired gentleman farmer, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're a gentleman farmer. Look. But what do you think of the state of farming these days for anyone having to sort of survive on a small farm?
Well,
now?
it's not very good. You have to do something a bit niche, Sandy, that's the answer. But we're basically just really sort of retired now. So I've been a cattle farmer all my life.
Yeah.
Well, we went into sheep because cattle tend to could potentially knock you about. You often hear about people in sort of in their 60s and 70s getting hit around with cattle.
So you've gone from cattle. So even though you're well beyond retirement age, you're still working harder than most people, aren't you?
Well,
I'd say you
switching
are.
on. I think it's better to keep yourself busy, keep your mind
definitely.
active. But so this is what we went into. We went into sheep. These are Cheviot mule sheep.
And how many ewes have you got now?
Oh, about 150.
150. Would
Yeah.
that?
They've all doing to the ram.
Yeah.
So basically, we start off with a yellow. So if you look at this one here, she's yellow, and then the next colour we went to was red,
Yeah.
and then blue, and now we're on greens now. But
So now some of them have got several different colours on their backs. Does that mean that they've been covered by?
no, it's only on the back end. So if you look at that one there, she's obviously red,
Yeah.
and if you look at her, she's obviously blue.
Yeah.
and that one's blue. This one obviously here in the foreground, she's yellow.
Yeah.
So basically we went for yellow to start with because it's a very easy colour to cover.
Right.
And then you use darker and darker. We're now on green.
Oh, I see, I'm with you.
Yeah, but so every 17 days at this time of the year, a ewe will come into season.
Yeah.
And the rams are just drawn to her like a moth to a flame.
Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, they seem to have done their job all right, and everybody so far has been covered. We counted them on Monday and changed the blocks for the last time, and then in 10 days, fortnight, we'll take those blocks off and then retire the tups. They go up onto that patch up on the hill.
Did you get many fallow and any empty ewes last year?
Just one.
Just one out of 140 odd?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's good. That's a good success rate.
Well, it is for young animals. Normally, if you get a what we call a barrener, normally you would basically send it to market.
Because these were yearlings last year, weren't they?
Yes, yeah. And we got 20 odd yearlings again this year.
Yeah. Are they what you kept from the?
No. This is something we went and bought
new
this
lot
year.
coming in.
Yeah.
So the yearlings always the first cycle for them is always a more difficult one than afterwards. It's easier.
You're going to expect that they're going to not be quite as fertile, and they're going to have little problems when they're lambing and that sort of thing because they're young.
Yeah.
But hopefully this time they'll be a little bit more experienced. We're a little bit more experienced.
So you've got to look after these animals all throughout the winter, and then in the coldest part of the winter, I think, is the early spring.
It is February, March. March. But these guys will probably come in February, March if it gets.
And that's when you've got to be out for a month and a half solid.
Well, we start in March usually, about March the 10th. So hopefully it's getting a bit milder then, and then it's literally you're on it 24 hours a day then between us.
I know when I worked on the farm, I was having to muck out the cattle and bed them down, and bitterly cold, so cold my hands they froze, and then they got so cold that after a while they started to feel warm again.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean obviously they weren't warm, but I think you're doing yourself injury, aren't you, if you're not careful?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you've been up to my shed up on the top there, have you?
No, this is the new bit of land you acquired.
Up there.
That's it over there, is it?
Yeah, the bit on the right, not the bit on the left.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a flower meadow now.
Yeah.
And I think we've got about 35 different flowers in there, something like that. This is another one we've got here as well, which we deliberately did. This field here, and this is another wildflower meadow here.
And you put a pond. Obviously, that's a runoff pond for the.
That's right. Yeah.
Roofs of the.
It's what they call a buffer pond. So basically.
I think we've got something similar in Swindon called an attenuation pond.
Yeah, there you are, exactly the same thing.
Same
so basically what it is, we've got about 10,000 square feet of buildings here, and we put the buildings up. Obviously we said, look, we don't want the water to rush straight off there and flood the village.
No, that's right.
So what happens is it all pours into a pond, and then it quietly just attenuates into the ground, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically this is the pond. And in there, funnily enough, when we started out, we had frogs and toads the first couple of years. There was frogs and toads. You can tell because the spawn's different. With frogs, you get like a sort of a great big mass of it all together.
Yeah.
But with toads, you get sort of long streams. But anyway, suddenly the frogs stopped coming, but the toads go crazy. And I think I've counted 150, 200 toads in there.
Toads are a good thing to have, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, I don't have a problem with toads. So you're wondering why it's left rough like this. Well, we've got wildflowers growing around here. That's knapweed growing there, and bird's foot trefoil you can see in the bottom here as well. We've even got orchids growing along the side there now.
Oh, lovely.
So but I've left that rough there deliberately because the owls, they sit on top of the pole up there, and they love this bit of ground here because of course it's full of voles and shrews, that sort of thing.
Yeah. How did your coracle go then, Rich? You didn't capsize it, did you?
No. Big men in small boats doesn't work, Sandy.
Over in this part of the country, they don't have boats. They haven't evolved to that level of sophistication. They use coracles still.
Are you all right with your feet if you want to carry on?
Yeah, fine. So this is the meaning of walking the plank then, Rich?
Yeah, off you go.
Yeah, that's a handy old pond, isn't it? How deep is it in the middle? It's not that deep, is it?
It's amazingly deep in the middle.
Is it?
Yeah. Do you want to hear about how Monty Don ruined my phone?
Go on then.
So Lynn said to me, you've been worried about those reeds in the pond. I said, yeah. So I've been watching this programme with Monty Don, and what he does is, Monty Don wanders out into the pond and pulls him up by hand, brings him to the bank. He said, piece of cake. So I said, oh, brilliant. So next hot day, pair of shorts, Out I go thinking the water's going to come up to my knees, and to my amazement it came up to my chest, and the pond's quite empty.
God,
Well,
that's about 5 foot then.
Yeah, at least.
Flipping.
And I thought, oh, this is getting a bit dodgy. And then Lynn said to me, where's your phone? And I realised, of course, we tried the old rice trick. It didn't work at all.
So it's in the lake still, is it? It was in the pond still?
No, it was in my bloody
Oh, I
shorts.
see. Oh, yeah.
So Monty Don, knackered my phone.
Yeah.
So there you are. So that's basically one little one coming from the house roofs and my workshop. That one, the outfall there, and the big outfall which you can't see over there is the one off all the roofs of all the buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's lovely, Rich. And you've got no fish in here, have you?
No, we don't want fish. We want newts, dragonflies. What's the beautiful blue ones?
Oh, mayflies?
No, something else. Anyway, I'm going to say some sort of fly anyway. Begins with a D, I can't think what it's called now. Damselfly. Is it damselfly?
Yeah.
So we got those. We got, I think, 3 or 4 different types of newts in here. And that's it, we're happy as Larry.
Yeah, lovely, Rich, that is.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's a proper wildlife area, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So these were your cattle yards then?
Yeah,
Rich?
so these are cattle yards, Sandy. So what we had to do is we've had to drop all these gates. So for example, the gate would have been up here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Top hinge
Now
and,
you're using
and the
it.
bottom hinge. And so we've had to. So basically, I've had to take all these off, weld all these in, and drop all the gates on here and there. And then the next thing is, of course, lambs should just hopping straight through here. So this time I put sheeting on here to stop that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So you repurpose cattle yards for sheep.
Yeah. So it's brilliant. And so we got a load of troughs up here. So basically, those troughs are like clip-on troughs.
Right.
So in the winter, I just put these clip-on troughs along here, and then I've got this barrier here to stop the sheep jumping through. I've got 1 or 2 that will jump through,
Yeah.
and then they come through and they eat all their cake here without having to come out.
Yeah, they can't get through that, can they?
No, and then of course we use ring feeders inside the pens then basically to feed them hay.
It's a tidy job.
Yeah,
Very tidy.
That's what you got to do, Sandy. You got to go with it.
Yeah. So, although you're retired, you're not really retired, are you? How many hours a week do you reckon you're putting in, Rich?
I don't know. I don't count the hours.
But it's a lifestyle thing, isn't it? I think the farmer's work, there's an old saying, like a farmer's work is never done.
No, well that's
Isn't
true.
it?
It's certainly 7 days a week, but if you enjoy it, it doesn't matter, does it? No.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
So here you are. You can see that this is the general thing. Look, on this is obviously just a 4-foot one, and basically by using 9-foot runs and 10-foot troughs, 9-foot and 10-foot troughs, and then at the end this one goes, we literally get a continuous run right up the whole building. Continuously.
Yeah.
So when you come in here with a bag of cake, you can just literally spin straight up there, and the whole the flock are done.
So you're basically streamlining your workflow, aren't you?
Yeah. But my next job now, I'm going to have to drop all these troughs down because obviously the troughs are way too high for the sheep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to knock all these blocks out and just put sort of 4-inch blocks and put troughs on there and work it all out. So that's my next big job.
The other reason for me coming up here today is that Rich, he's got some surplus wood, and he realised my quest for good seasoned firewood for my wood burner, and he's going to give me some wood, so we're going to go and look at that now.
Yeah.
I have worked hard for this wood because I've had to listen to his Morse code for the last 30 years.
Excellent Morse code.
Yeah, your Morse is quite good actually, Rich.
Quite good. I mean, that's high praise from you.
I reckon there aren't many people that get on the bands like us, is there?
No, not many.
Rattling away at our speeds. So we're going into a little store, a little workshop area.
There you are.
And look at all this, it's all bagged up for me.
Yeah, I'm going to put this up for you.
Flipping heck, Rich, that's lovely wood, that is. That is perfect, absolutely perfect. That's good hard ash, isn't it? Flipping heck. That's so kind of you, thank you very much, Rich.
You're welcome, mate. Just take what you want.
I'll bring the car round later.
Yeah. You can either take the bags or, whatever.
I reckon I might just fit that in my car just about.
Yeah, well, you take it. Honestly, seriously, it's yours.
Cheers, Rich, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
He's very kind, isn't he?
Yeah, so the other thing that we use these days, which is brilliant, in the old days we used to have to use tractor batteries and things like that with electric fencers. These days we've got units like these. solar panels.
So that'll maintain itself.
More than maintain itself. I've never had one go flat yet, and I've been using them now for about 2 or 3 years.
Flipping heck.
Never goes flat.
So he makes that Gallagher.
Yeah.
And that's just purely for powering an electric fence.
Yeah, electric fence keeps sheep back.
There's hardly any current to that, isn't there?
It's all voltage.
Volts make you jolt.
It's the volts that jolts, it's the mills that kills.
That's it, yeah. So we're just going into Richard's, this is how he heats his home. This is, I've got a video on the channel some years ago when I was here last and filmed it. But it's a very impressive setup, Rich, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I didn't invent it, but this is where the dog sleeps as well. It's the warmest place in the whole house.
Crumbs, yeah, it's lovely and warm in here.
Yeah, so basically, and so this is the wood ready to go into the boiler. Here's the boiler.
And that boiler itself is as big as a man, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big old bit of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there you go, so that's the boiler, and it's already laid. So basically, I have a fire, let's say on a Monday. Tuesday morning, I'll be in here, as soon as the ashes are dead, I'll literally be in here and I'll lay the boiler again.
Yeah.
And get it all sort of going there. So you have to have some good kindling wood to get it going. So basically that's it then. So I know when the boiler's ready to light because this light here will come on.
Yeah.
And tells me, yeah, I'm running short of water. So this thing then starts up, and then we can take water off to the house to warm the house, or basically for hot water.
Yeah.
But then the rest of it goes into this storage here, which is a couple of 1,000 litres of water.
That's a massive tank, isn't it?
Yeah, some of that's insulation, to be fair. So basically I'll heat it up to about 80, just over 80 on all of these, like that.
Right, yeah. It's holding its heat, so you can see how big that tank is by me standing next to it.
Yeah.
That's enormous.
Oh, you're a short ass anyway, so.
Yeah.
So there you are, and so basically then you've got your water, hot water, works exactly the same as anybody else's hot water. These are a bit different. These actually check the temperature in the house. So basically this is central heating downstairs and upstairs, and it checks basically to know the temperature. It wants to look at the temperature outside, temperature in the house, and how much heat we've got left in the tank.
Yeah,
and then by juggling that, if it's very cold in the house, cold outside and plenty of hot water, you get a lot of hot water very quickly. Yeah. And they just balances like that. It's all done with computers. So
incredible.
So it's so you've got the wood out in the shed, which we did we video that? I can't remember.
I videoed the wood outside. You got your woods here.
Yeah.
And then this isn't wood for immediate use. And then you got a whole heap of it in here. I mean, this is gonna. This would be more, probably a couple of years burning for me, just this lot alone.
Oh yeah, well that'll keep me going for a couple of years.
Would it? Easy?
Yeah. That'll keep me going for a couple of years, I reckon.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than a couple of years for me then. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing.
Well, it depends on the wood. This is ash wood, and it really is I reckon it's the best wood you can get.
Yeah.
I mean,
you reckon it's better than oak?
Oh yeah. Oak's denser, actually, material or something. I don't know. I would say that oak is not as good as ash.
Yeah.
But any wild dry wood would use, but we use a lot of willow wood, and you find that I have to fill that boiler 1.5 times.
Yeah.
With this, you can see I've only partially filled the boiler.
Yeah,
and that'll be enough to heat a whole house for a night, the water, and fill that tank.
Yeah.
About 3/4 to half to 3/4 of a.
And that would last you for how long?
Well, it just depends how cold it is and how much we use, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, if it's very cold, every 3 days in a very cold part of the winter, and about this time of year, it's 5 to 7 days.
Yeah. That's lovely. And you've got more wood here as well.
Yeah. So that's basically. So I sorted into short bits to go in the house, and long bits basically in short bits. Well, it's mixed it there actually. Yeah. I pull the long bits to go into the boiler and the short bits into the house.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks for showing us around, Rich.
No, you're welcome, Sandy. Anytime, you know that.
And so for the viewers, I hope you've enjoyed the video. You saw a bit of country life, what it's like from the farmer's perspective in Herefordshire, somewhere in the deepest, darkest part of Herefordshire.
It's dark this morning.
Yeah, it was dark this morning. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you on the next one. If you're not subscribed, don't forget, you can always subscribe, and leave a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Cheers, Rich.
Oh, cheers, Sandy.